Unitarian Universalist Church, building community, inspiring growth, creating change. Here in the heart of Kansas City, we come together to create this hour of shared reflection so that we might be renewed in courage for these times and inspired to lives of greater dignity, higher purpose, deeper generosity, and more effective action. May the words and music and images that we offer today nourish our best selves, calling forth abundant wisdom and love, a love that has the power to overcome both loneliness in the heart and oppression in the world. Welcome to our service.
Arise, O souls,
Good morning. I'm Scott Hensey, and I'm a proud member of All Souls. Whether you are here in person, in the room, or watching online, we're glad you're all here. Your presence enriches all of us and our time together. We are a Unitarian Universalist congregation. Our tradition is a large tent with room for many beliefs and approaches to the questions that matter. It is our values of inclusion, compassion, and justice that hold us together. We seek to build the beloved community, making room for everyone and creating a world where everyone's needs are met. You may be new here this morning. Welcome. We know that your first time attending a church, you may want to keep a low profile and just check things out quietly. That's great. We're glad you're here. And if you are a visitor and excited to be here, let us all know that you are. We invite you to raise your hand at this time. All right, Labor Day, it's all of us, right on. Thank you, everybody, for enriching us with your presence today. Whoever you are, whomever you love, wherever you are on your spiritual journey, you are welcome here. Whether you come with laughter in your heart or tears, you're welcome here. You're invited to join us with an open mind, a loving heart, and willing hands. We welcome you today.
I am the Reverend Erin Dajka Holley. I am so glad that you are here with us. Whether you are online or in the room, it is good to see you today. It is good to be with you today. These opening words are adapted from words by Paul Dalzell. On this Sunday before Labor Day, we honor all work. Not only the work we do for pay with our hands, our backs, and our minds, that is important, yes, but also the work we do for love. The work we do to help others stay alive and belong instead of being outcasts. The work we do to ensure that people are paid fairly, work reasonable hours, and have quality in their lives. The work we do caring for the young, the old, the infirm, the work we do to mentor, to educate, to advocate, and to enrich the community, the country, and the world. We honor all the labors that support our world and all the work we do to make this a better place. Let us worship together.
Our chalice lighting is from the Oberlin UU Fellowship Church in Oberlin, Ohio. We light this chalice to find inner peace, love for each other, and faith in ourselves. Also to be welcoming to whomever we meet, and kind to all living creatures. So gather round this light of hope as we share this time together. Please stand as you are able to join in the affirmation of our covenant. Then remain standing as we join together in song.
Goodwill is the spirit of this church, and service is its law. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in love, and to help one another.
Just as long as I have breath, I must answer yes to life. Though with pain I made my way, still with hope I meet each day. If they ask what I did well, tell them I said yes to life. Just as long as vision lasts, I must answer yes to truth. In my dream and in thy dark, always that elusive spark. If they ask what I did well, tell them I said yes to truth. Just as long as my heart beats, I must answer yes to love. Disappointment pierced me through, still I kept on loving you. If they ask what I did best, tell them I said yes to love.
I would like to invite the young and the young at heart to come forward to join me for some time together. If you're young at heart and want to come forward, there are chairs. Hi. Come join me. Good morning. Ooh, can I pet your owl? Thank you. I like owls a lot. So, tomorrow is a holiday. So you probably know that because those of you who are going to school are not going to school tomorrow. And it's called Labor Day. You knew that too? Oh my gosh. These are some very well-educated children already. And you know, it has been a holiday, Labor Day, in this country for a really long time, since 1893. That was 131 years ago. We have been celebrating Labor Day for 131 years. Who knew?
Actually, before me and Bert were born. Counting this year in the year it was made.
Mm-hmm.
How was Labor Day even made?
How is it made? Well, some people from the labor movement suggested it to the government, and the government said, that's a pretty good idea. Let's make that a holiday.
But how can we still remember that Labor Day still a thing? It was like 150 years ago.
Well, it's still a thing because it's still important to people to have this holiday. So let me tell you about what Labor Day is about, because it's all about recognizing that it is important that people do jobs to make things, to grow things, and to take care of things and places and people. So we celebrate Labor Day, labor means work, to say thank you to everyone who has a job or does things at home. So really quick, let's just say thank you to everybody who does work. 1, 2, 3, thank you. Okay, now, I have a question for you, and I'm probably gonna get a bunch of answers, so we're gonna do it quickly. What do you want to do when you grow up?
I want to be a scientist.
A scientist. Another scientist.
I want to be a chemist.
Another scientist. Dylan.
I'm to be a biology teacher.
Biology teacher, still the sciences. I love it. Okay.
I want to work at a pet shelter.
A pet shelter. That is still kind of related to science. Yeah.
I want to run an animal show.
Somebody else who wants to be part of an animal shelter.
With my
Yeah.
brother. No, not animal shelter, animal show.
One more time. Drive an F1. Ooh.
I would like to be a home mom.
You want to be a home mom? Great.
Home mom.
It's a mom who stays at home and takes care of things and their kids.
Oh, they never go in. I want to be a babysitter.
Jude also wants to be a babysitter. Yeah. You want to be
12 things.
12 things. You may live long enough that you can. Changing careers is not all new.
Everything I want to do has something to do with animals.
We should talk sometime. I'm a little obsessed with animals too.
Animals is the best.
Okay, so more questions for everybody now, including the grown-ups. Raise your hand if you want to do something that makes enough money. That is a priority for, okay, we're getting more and more. Maybe 2/3 of our children. Raise your hands again if you want to do something that is fun.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah, okay. I'm seeing a lot of people who want to do stuff that's fun. One more time. Raise your hand if you want to do something to take care of people. So, when we think about jobs and work, sometimes we only consider the money that a job might make. But it's also important to think about how we feel about what we do and whether we enjoy it. And we want to think about how what we do affects other people. How can we take care of others through what we do?
So that's what
Mm-hmm.
I do that sometimes.
Mm-hmm. So keep thinking about taking care of others when you're thinking about what you want to do with your life. And I want you to remember one more thing before I let you go. And that is that when you grow up, what you do for a job is not who you are. Does that make sense?
No.
Okay. That says something about our society. We'll go into that in the sermon. So what you do for work is simply what you do, not who you are or who you're going to be. What kind of a but think about what kind of a person you want to be. Right? So find a way, and you've already talked about this, both now and as a grown-up, to be who you are, a caring person who has an open mind, a loving heart, and helping hands. Willing hands, I like that too. So that is about who you are, whereas what you do for a job is what you do for a job. And that, who you are, is the most important thing. Melanie, they are just changing you up all along. One more thing, Jude.
When I'm Blythe's age, I can probably, when my big sister, when I'm my big sister's age, I probably can start babysitting because
Okay. Jude is really excited to be old enough to babysit. So that's the thing I want you to think about, is who you want to be, not just what you want to be. So with that, let us sing our young people to their classes. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Go now in peace, may love guide all your ways. Beauty be the blessing of your nights and days. Truth on your lips and kindness in your deeds. Faith to follow where the human spirit leads.
About 5 years ago, I went back to my hometown and the UU church where I grew up to attend my father's memorial service. It was COVID, so we could only have 10 masked people distanced in the sanctuary, so there was nothing remotely normal about that memorial service. But sitting in the chairs, I wasn't up front. I wasn't preaching to the congregation that raised me, which is usually why I would be back in that church, but simply sitting there. I realized that church was always my safe place. Home wasn't quite safe. School was far from safe, a lot of bullies. But at church, I had adults who loved me for who I was. I made connections with my peers. I knew that I was not alone, but instead surrounded by love there at church. So it's no wonder, really, that I was called in the ministry to help others find their safe place. And I have heard from some of you that in this community, you too have found a safe place. I hope that you will express your gratitude by contributing to sustain this, our church. The offering will be graciously given and gratefully received.
Please join me in the dedication of the offering. We dedicate our offerings and our actions to the mission at the heart of this congregation, to build a respectful, caring community with higher growth and spiritual growth, and to create change towards a just and compassionate society.
The Labor of Our Days by Jennifer Willett. What images come to mind when I say Labor Day? Chances are you think of the holiday with a weekend of celebrations with your loved ones. You think of the federal holiday. You think of unions and the cause of working wage and benefits. Maybe the history of the struggle of the working people to have a fair share of the profits from their work. Continuing struggle. Those are all great. But now I want you to think back of your parents and your caregivers. The parents that fed you, bathed you, nurtured you, taught you the building blocks of how to be in the world. Think of your elders. Who shops for them, goes to the doctors with them, cleans for them, cares for them when they begin to fail. Now think of those that have physical and mental challenges of differing degrees. They come in all ages, and some may need assistance in daily tasks that make the day-to-day life easier, sometimes possible at all. Much of this work is unpaid labor, yet the work of homemaking, child care, elder care, differently abled care, it's not part of our economic system. It doesn't count on our GDP, but our society would collapse without it. Now consider the other non-paid labor we do to mentor, to educate, to assist, to advocate, to entertain, enrich the community, the country, the world. Think of all that we do for our neighbors, our friends, our community, to make life better. And this is labor. A paycheck isn't the only measure of our work. Without this labor, our world would be a lonely and more desperate place. So honor your labor. If you work for money, this holiday is for you. If you work for love, this holiday is still for you. Our work makes the world better. Enjoy your day.
Our second reading is from Vocation in Work by Dorothy L. Sayers, who wrote this in England in 1942. The economic factor in human society is, of course, a reality, as sin and pain and sorrow and every other human evil are realities. And it is the duty of Christians to accept and redeem those evils. But to assume, as we have increasingly allowed ourselves to assume of late years, to assume, as so many well-intentioned architects of an improved society assume today, that economics is the sole basis of man's dealings with nature and with his fellow men, is the very negation of all Christian principle. This assumption is rooted in a lie. It is a falsehood that runs counter to the law of human nature. And like everything that runs counter to the nature of things, it can only lead to the judgment of catastrophe. For this reason, it is impossible that the economic situation should ever be rightly adjusted, so long as it is looked upon as being merely an economic question. To get the economic situation dealt with, we must lift it out of the economic sphere altogether and consider first, what is the right relation between the work itself and the worker who is made in the image of the eternal craftsman? Now, this point of view which a few centuries ago would have been a commonplace, is today almost inconceivably remote from the ideas of the ordinary man. It appears to him to be a kind of theoretical luxury, out of all relation to the facts of life. He will ask, how can we indulge in any such highfalutin romance about work until we have gained a measure of economic security? And again, how can men hope to enjoy their work creatively when most of it is so distasteful that they can only be induced to do it by the necessity for earning a livelihood? The answer to this is one which it is most impossible to get people to understand, namely, that it is precisely the concentration upon economic security which makes both security and enjoyment in work unattainable, because it is a setting up of the means to an end as an end in itself, so that the true end and object of work is lost and forgotten.
Step by step, the longest march can be won, can be won. Many stones can form an arch, singly none, singly none. And by union what we will can be accomplished still. Drops of water turn a mill, singly none, singly none. Step by step the longest march can be won, can be won. Many stones can form an arch, singly none, singly none. And by union what we will can be accomplished still. Drops of water turn a mill, singly none, singly none.
What is your call story? Inevitably, this is an early question for students pursuing ministry. What is your call story? What experience did you have that put you onto this path of religious leadership? How did the Holy call you to this work? As I have acknowledged over more than 2 decades since I started seminary the first time, I can only say that it made sense. There wasn't a moment of a burning bush or of running away from it until God had a giant fish swallow me, or even of a religious leader saying, "Follow me," as Jesus had called his disciples. I didn't have a single revelatory moment at church or in nature during which it all made sense. I heard no voices calling my name. What did happen was that I considered my childhood in the Unitarian Universalist Church of Rockford, Illinois. My desire to maintain my connection to UUism in college by running the UU campus group, and then my passion for religious studies, which turned into my major. Religious leadership made sense for me at the time. A sense of call, though, isn't just about that first moment of clear discernment. It's ongoing and evolving. And over the years, through burnout and doubt, that connection to ministry just kind of never went away. It's like a flame inside that gutters and changes inside, but burns nonetheless. And you just know that it's right. In the most literal, straight out of the Latin sense, a vocation is work to which you are called, paid or unpaid. Within Unitarian Universalism's Christian heritage, albeit we were the heretics, there is a long tradition of theological writings regarding the meaning of work. And much of it invokes the sense of vocation to describe all types of work. Over the millennia, vocation has been used to instill a requirement from God that everyone must work, to maintain societal hierarchy because some are called by God to esteemed work and others to drudgery, and to make meaning of work by tying it to the sacred. All of this on some level is about finding a framework for work that is meaningful. Humans seek meaning in our lives, in the world, and in what we do, even if we're usually not aware of it. One of the things Dorothy Sayers noticed about World War II England was that workers rushing to complete tanks for Russia were enthusiastic and celebrated their efforts because of a real conviction in the worth of their work. She writes, "They will endure much if, like the artist, they passionately desire to see the job completed and to know that it is very good." And I think we've all had that experience in some way or another. You set out to do something that matters, even if it is mind-numbing or unpleasant, because it matters, because you have pride in it, and it doesn't feel as bad as it might. Like, I made a decision at the age of 12 that I wanted to remain a cellist, but an amateur. I didn't want to pursue music as a career because playing cello was fun, and I wanted it to remain fun. I knew that if it were my career, it would become something I must do instead of something I want to do. I wouldn't be able to simply play what I enjoyed, like musical theater pit orchestras, but I would need to take gigs simply to make money. Making music needed to not become a necessity in our world where economic output is set up as the greatest good. And I'm going to say that again, even though you already know it. In our society, economic output is set up as the greatest good. The only way to have value is through productivity and monetization. You most recently heard it blatantly from our national administration in the instance that Medicaid, or the insistence that Medicaid have a work requirement. The message is clear. You only deserve access to health care if you are contributing to the GDP. And if it is not possible for you to contribute to the GDP, say because you have a disability, then you must survive in poverty because there are low limits on how much you are allowed to have in assets. You are allowed to own a car, but not to save up enough money to buy one or to pay for expensive repairs. I mean, seriously, the limit on assets for people on disability is a mere $2,000.
$3,000 for a married couple. Saving for any emergency risks losing benefits completely. And our society has allowed this. It has allowed that the limit has not increased in decades because of the belief that a person only has value related to economic productivity. Dorothy Sayers makes a similar point when she states, and I'm going to make some adjustments for archaic gender-based language, that economics is the sole basis of a person's dealings with nature and with their fellows. And of course, she immediately negates that statement as unreasonable and unchristian. We even teach our children that what they do for money as an adult defines their very self. They could not understand the difference between what they were going to do as an adult and who they would be as an adult. You heard that. Blew their brains. Because I very carefully asked them this morning about what they want to do when they grow up. But usually the question is, what do you want to be when you grow up? I mean, really, think about that question. The verb to be is about existence. It is about self-definition and identity. And then asking this of a person, we use the pronoun what, which ignores their personhood. So instead of what do you want to be when you grow up, I propose two questions. What do you want to do? And who do you want to be? The societal trend to bring all value into economics runs counter to Unitarian Universalism. Our value of equity states we declare that every person is inherently worthy and has the right to flourish with dignity, love, and compassion. If every person is inherently worthy, they have value for no other reason than existing. There is no expectation that a person prove that they have worth. No expectation that a person create economic value to be valued. The value of a person is inherent, intrinsic. It cannot be separated from their existence. And so our values are at odds with larger society, as is often the case, and has tended to be the case of non-state religion for millennia. We must acknowledge, as Sayers does, that work has become an end of its own. And simply because laboring provides the resources to survive. And there is no support to survive without labor. So one must work, and most of the jobs available have no intrinsic pride. The cog in the machine. The jobs that exist for no other reason than to help increase someone else's profits. It's not about helping others or creating or cultivating. It is work for work's sake, for the sake of larger economies. I so strongly believe that being human is about making meaning that it has fed into my call to ministry, to doing work that helps others make meaning in their lives. And so much of what is valued in our society, of how society sets up for our lives, counters that making meaning completely. It is difficult in most jobs to actually make a living. So many have multiple jobs and then add in gig work to cover the necessities. And even many who are in salaried positions find that work is taking on so much time and energy as everyone must do more with less. that there is not room to do things that are meaningful. And so we put as much into leisure and rest as possible to help ourselves survive, skipping over the things that are meaningful. We don't, as they say, stop to smell the roses. There is no economic value to smelling the roses, or watching the sunrise, or pondering the important questions. Meaning itself has no economic value. The fact that you are spending your Sunday morning on a holiday weekend here at church shows that you want more meaning in your life. It shows that for you, value exists outside of economics. There is something more to life than participating in capitalism. And so the question I'm pondering for meaning is whether it is possible, given economic realities, to add a sense of calling, vocation, to work, or at least to some part of our lives. How can we connect to meaning, to creation, or making a difference? This truly is the call of our faith, the call of Unitarian Universalism. Our tradition and our new values call us to live lives of meaning and to work for the betterment of all. And truly, I find meaning in that work which contributes to the lives of others, that makes life easier, that provides for others. Ask anyone who participates in our hunger outreach efforts whether their work is meaningful. Whether they're putting packets of mayo and mustard into baggies to go with the sandwiches others are making on a tiny assembly line, or if they're stirring huge pots of food or driving literally all over the greater Metro Kansas City area to pick up food donations. The work is meaningful. It's not because the tasks themselves are inherently meaningful. It's because what they are doing is useful for other people. When Dorothy Sayers pointed out the exuberance of those assembling tanks very quickly to provide to the war effort, she tied that to the workers feeling that their work had worth. And yes, that is true. But maybe that worth was more about meaning, that it meant something to tangibly create something that would help win a war against evil. And so how do we make our work meaningful? And I acknowledge that for many, the job that makes money to survive is not going to be meaningful without doing mental and spiritual gymnastics to connect a job to the ease of someone else's burdens, especially in fields that emphasize profit over product. But some of our jobs do have meaning that is easier to find. Jobs that can feel like a calling. And we need to acknowledge that there is meaning and that we are helping others. But we can also include the efforts that we make in our daily lives, outside of what allows for paychecks, as work that can be meaningful. Jennifer Willett reminds us that all of our unpaid work to care for families and friends is still work. And that care is meaningful, especially when you could see the relief, the smiles, or the pleasure created by your efforts. And the calling of our faith rings strong and clear in every moment, but especially right now. We are each called to create change for a just and equitable society as members living out the mission of all souls. And thus, you are called. by your religious tradition, by the love at the center, by your own heart. You are called to make meaning through service to others, our universal vocation. May it be so. Please rise as you are willing and able and sing with us the song Answering the Call of Love.
The promise of the Spirit, faith, hope, and love abide, and so every soul is blessed and made whole. The truth in our hearts is our guide. We are answering the call of love. Hands joined together as hearts beat as one. Emboldened by faith, we dare to proclaim we are answering the call of love. Sometimes we build a barrier to keep love tightly bound, corrupted by fear, unwilling to hear, denying the beauty we found. We are answering the call of love. Hands joined together as hearts beat as one. Emboldened by faith, we dare to proclaim we are answering the call of love. A bright new day is dawning, when love will not divide. Reflections of grace in every embrace, fulfilling the vision divine. We are answering the call of love. Hands joined together as hearts beat as one. Emboldened by faith, we dare to proclaim we are answering the call of love. We are answering the call of love.
We release this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again. Very quickly, before the benediction, please come to church on September 14th. It is our celebratory service, welcoming everyone back from the summer. The choir will be back. Our children will be with us for the whole service, including the special water ceremony ritual where we mingle our individual waters into a metaphor of our community. So let us celebrate belonging with one another that day. September 14th, be here. May you find meaning in your work. May you know that you are more than what you do for a living. May you feel celebrated for your labors in all ways, for you are called.
May a song of peace be yours. May a song of hope be mine. May a song of